What's happening? It's your top dollar JayHooray, because it's a celebration when you see me. I want to appreciate y'all for tuning to Higher Self Wednesday, where I help you become your higher self on Wednesday. I want to appreciate y'all's eyes, ears, and attention, because it could have been anywhere else, but instead, it's right here with me, and I so very much appreciate that. All right, now, today's discussion, we're going to be talking about the moment where you feel like DMX. You know, I slip, I fall, I gotta get up. You know, when you slip off your purpose and you kind of feel lost. So we're gonna dive into that a little bit, all right? Now, for me, I knew I was slipping because I already did the inner work, the self-reflection, the getting better, right? So I was doing that, okay? But I was doing that, I felt like I was doing it out of, I wasn't doing it like aligned. I was doing it more because it was the right thing to do, Now, what I mean by that is, if you're doing something just because you think it's the right thing to do and you're not aligned, it's not going to hold stick. It's going to slip, all right? And I found myself doing that. Like, I was doing all the grounding, the meditating, the working out, eating healthy until I didn't. I started slipping, going back into my old habits. I started with, I stopped smoking weed. My mind was clear. My thoughts was clear. And then I'm like, all right, it's smooth. It's cool. I got everything on lock. I got everything under control. But then, I hit that J and my whole life just like went reverse. Like, it went to what I used to do and how I used to move just off of that one decision to smoke a J, So that's what I mean about actually being aligned with the right things instead of just doing it out of just habit. You want to make sure you're doing it because this is your heart is telling you that. Not just your mind. You gotta feel, That's where I slipped up. I was just doing it out of habit. I read a few books and they said do this and do that. So I was just trying things, but it wasn't me at the core. So as soon as the opportunity to slip, I was breakdancing on ice. I slipped. I went back into my old self, even though I knew better. I just didn't do better because I wasn't focused enough. I wasn't aligned enough. I didn't have enough of a why to keep on going. Sometimes life would do that. It would test your persistence. It would test your discipline. It would test your habits. It would test everything. And if you shaky in any of your foundation, that building coming down. I can tell you that right now. So you got to make sure that you're doing everything from your core, everything from your heart, everything from your mind, your soul, spirit, body, everything got to be aligned when you're pursuing your goals or pursuing your manifestations, all that good stuff. You want to make sure that you're doing it from the core, from the center, instead of just doing it just because soon as it get rocky, I'm telling you, you're going to revert back because that's what you're comfortable with. And I'm speaking from experience, I just slipped up many times. But also slipping and, falling off is part of the journey as well. So don't be afraid of, making mistakes, taking L's, learning. But you can't make mistakes and then keep doing the same mistakes. That's insanity. You can't do the same thing over and over again expecting different results. You got to be able to make the mistakes but learn from it. That's how you grow. And that's the only way we can grow is from failing and, doing it over. You can't be afraid of failure. All right? So don't be afraid of slipping. Just getting out there in the ring is good. If you fall, get back up. But learn how to adjust. Don't keep doing the same moves, same maneuvers, because you're going to keep getting the same results. You feel me? And checking your environment, what's ever around you. You know, if you're trying to stop, playing a video game so much, unplug the video game, put it in a bag, tie it up, put it in the closet, hide it. You don't want to have it right there because that temptation gonna be on you. If you're trying to, eat healthy, stop buying the snacks and the cookies and having that in your drawer, because it's gonna be temptation just right there knocking at your door. Now the strongest man, even with temptation, will succumb to it. So you gotta help yourself out. Don't make it hard for yourself. Don't make it easy for you to slip. You gotta remove the distractions. You gotta get your environment, everything, everybody around you gotta be with you on this journey. And if they ain't, you gotta get them. You gotta shake them off. You gotta get them loose, because temptation is a mug, a mother lover. It's it will make you think. If all right, let's say, for an example, right? You was doing good, you focused, you eating healthy, your skin glowing, you looking good and all that good stuff, right? And then you get a text from a shorty, and she one of the fine little pieces, right? And she hit you with some temptation. What you doing tonight? Come through, slide through, and all that, right? Now you got thoughts in your head like, dang, I won't even thinking about this, man. I won't even feeling aroused. Yeah, I'm focused on my purpose. And then soon as somebody texts you, your thoughts get to running and all that. But some of them thoughts aren't you. That loud voice in your head, most of the time it ain't you. You can direct your thoughts, because it all starts with a thought. Yeah, you ever hear the woman, they be like, if you thinking about it, you cheated. Good Lord, I can't even think. But it got some validity to it, because it all starts with the thought. Before you start talking, you're thinking about it first. Before you go to the gym, you're thinking about it. Before you go to McDonald's, you done thought about it. It all starts with a thought. So it do got some validity, but you got to make sure your thoughts are in line with who you are, because it'll have you slipping. It just starts with them thoughts. Like when I reverted back and started slipping on my purpose, I was thinking. It started with thinking. I was like, hey, shoot, I'm doing good. I could smoke a little J. I can relax. I can take my foot off the gas. Shoot, I'm chilling, right? So I smoked the J, and then one thing I know, it was a month later, and I'm still smoking. It became a habit again, just like that. So you got to be careful about your thoughts, because it would deter you off your path. But the great thing is you can control your thoughts. The same way a negative thought can pop into your head, you can combat it with a positive thought. And just like that, it cancels out, But you got to be aware of what you're thinking, and you got to know that everything you thinking isn't you. The devil can play with you as well. You can put thoughts in your head the same way God can put thoughts in your head, but you got to be aware of that, all right? The best thing is to try to catch yourself when you know you're slipping. When you got those thoughts like, man, I could be doing better. Man, I could have been more productive today. Those are some good thoughts to be having, but you got to act upon it. You can't wait till it's too late. A whole year done passed where you done wasted a whole year where you had those thoughts like, I could be doing this, I could be doing that. You got to just start doing it, because you slip and fall, it's hard to climb yourself back out there. Now you got to go extra hard. Instead of it being the regular hard, it's going to be extra now, because you got to make up for all the time that you lost, But to wrap things up, slipping, falling is all part of the journey. All right, you gonna have some tough moments. You gonna have some slip up moments. But the thing is, you want to learn from it. All right, you want to grow from it. You gonna have obstacles. That's with everything in life. All right. When you feel like I done slipped up, don't get down on yourself, because yourself is all you got. All right. Instead, change it up to, what did I learn from this? What can I grow from this? What can I not do next time? What could I do better next time? Once you start putting those thoughts in your head, then slipping and falling will be much easier. All right. But if you are going to fall, at least fall on your back so you can look up. Okay. But I want to appreciate y'all for tuning in with your top dollar. Spread some love today. Okay. Find somebody to help. All right. Peace, love, and prosperity. I holla.